Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215, stranger, and say, hey, Sheriff, why don't you follow us on Twitter? Frank on Absolute. I feel that we ended up in some sort of Wild West backwoods there.
Yeah.
For that information. The modern world. So, speaking of the modern world, I was talking to a bloke yesterday who was telling me that he noticed that his daughter, he's got a daughter, I think who's about 12, 13, and her and her friends, they switch the lights on and off with their thumbs.
Oh.
In the house on the light switches, because the thumb now has become the dominant thing because of texting.
Oh, the texting.
And all that. Yeah. So, so you know when you switch a light switch off, they thumb it. They thumb it off. And it's going to be an evolutionary change, is our thumbs are going to get bigger and more
I like
flexible.
the idea that the United Kingdom now is listening to this and holding their thumb up going, I don't understand what...
Well, they're probably saying...
As opposed to fingers.
Yeah, they're just adjusting the tuning with their...
With their thumbs, with their massive thumbs.
Their fabulous thumbs.
With the right kind of dimmer, though, just one touch only.
I
don't like a dimmer.
Oh, don't you, Frank?
Really?
Oh.
No.
What's your problem with the dimmer?
He likes quite a stark Birmingham light.
I like on or... That's it. I like on or off. That's what I like.
Off the middle ground.
I'm not crazy about a shade. I like a sort of a East European prison kind of a feel to a house.
Or dark.
No, a dimmer is... make your mind up. What else? Do you want a dimmer on everything else?
Where do you stand on lamps, Frank?
Where do I stand on what?
Lamps.
Around the house?
If you turn the big light off, as it's been called in the past.
Yes.
Would you put on any lamps? Have you got like a stand lamp or a...
Oh, he's not a lamp man.
I have got a lamp. My manager bought me a lamp exactly like the lamp from... I don't know if you remember this, but there's a big lamp in The Italian Job, the original movie.
Oh.
He bought me that.
Oh, nice.
But, you know...
Is it an angle poise?
It's enormous. It's got a massive slab of marble on one end. And like a big silver thing that looked like... Remember when you used to walk past ladies' hairdressers and women sat underneath those things? It looks like that on the other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a lamp. You can dress it up any way you like. What I'm saying, it's not a standard lamp.
Right.
If you receive my meaning.
Uh-huh.
You think this is tedious? It's going to get worse because...
I don't think it's tedious, though. I'm enjoying it. I like talking about lamps.
The worst thing I think is possible to talk about is when someone tells you a dream that they've had.
Oh, I hate that.
I would put it right up there with when someone tells you about a new American drama they've discovered on the telly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know when people do
that?
when
they quote from it as well.
Yeah, they say, have you seen Breakneck?
Breakneck.
No, I haven't seen that. Yeah, it's made by the people who make the West Wing. Oh, man. And as soon as they got to it, all I hear is... I can see their mouths moving. Occasionally I'll tune back in for... I'll tell you who's in it. Do you remember that guy? In this one episode... I don't care. Don't tell me about...
I totally agree, Frank.
I don't like American dramas, anyway. The Wire, The West Wing, The Sopranos, they're all rubbish.
You're wrong in a way.
I agree with you on The
relax.
Sopranos. You know my feelings on that.
No, you're wrong in a way.
Sopranos is the worst piece of television ever made.
Why are they even on? Take them away. Look, you've had your mumbled dialogue. No, go away.
I thought they spoke quite clearly in Breakneck. I enjoyed it.
Breakneck's one of the best. It's not as good as Brassneck, who used to be in The Dandy. But anyway...
So what's worse than that,
I'm going to tell you about a dream I had.
Oh,
good.
Yeah, only because I've always quite fancied myself as a Freudian.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm quite good at interpreting dreams. I'll have a dream and I'll lie in bed and think, oh, yeah, and see what that means. And, of course, that symbolises work, and that symbolises...
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
You say you're Freudian, let's slip into it.
Okay.
Little joke there. You missed it, didn't you? You missed it.
It was excellent. I enjoyed it.
No, I got it.
I didn't get it, I'll be honest with you.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, I'll get it now. Now you've put the angle poise on it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank 360 is texted in.
Ah, my old friend.
Well, I don't think it's going to be your old friend anymore.
Oh, no.
Dear Frank, Emily and Cockerell. Not even the Cockerell. Have you watched Lilyhammer yet? Simon and Hythe.
Well, I liked her first album. But I think she just went a bit too cutie, do you know what I mean?
No, that's exactly what you don't want, Frank. It's one of those American cop dramas.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, it's set in Lilyhammer. He's in a witness protection programme and he's in the mafia. You'll hate it.
I don't know what Lilyhammer is.
I just assumed that they'd made it up and that they were joining in with a joke.
It's an actual thing.
Oh, good.
See, I would have pronounced that Lilyhammer.
I look forward to not watching that.
Very well travelled.
That's another American drama, is it?
Yeah.
Because they've also started now with, like, Scandinavian dramas, Italian.
They're good.
Yeah.
Look, because we don't have enough cop shows. Right? Let's go and find some other shows about the police.
I like the idea.
Don't get me wrong, I like the police. You know what I mean? Don't put me in with the some Tory politicians. But I don't just want to watch programmes about the police.
I like the idea you're sat at home with a box set of The Killing and The Bill going, do we really need a foreign cop series? Surely not.
I've got a box set of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Unopened.
I know, I use it as coasters.
Don't bother, mate.
No, of course I haven't watched it.
We've also
I have watched it, actually. I have a look at them just to make... Every now and again I'll watch one to make sure it's definitely rubbish.
It's not rubbish.
It is. You can't compare those with...
Yeah, get a pizza,
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
You should watch Deadwood.
It's not
Bada bing.
It's not Monica the Glen, is it?
It's no Monica the Glen, you're right. You're right.
Hey?
We've also heard from the outside world from
Ballykiss Angel
460.
Oh, Ballykiss Angel.
Now you're
Angel.
talking.
It was good, that.
Spawned
Launched several careers.
Colin
didn't it?
Farrell. Was he in The Sopranos?
Was he in Ballykiss Angel? I didn't quite know.
Max Beasley.
Spatter tea!
The great drummer.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't had a spit the tea moment for ages. We've
Bob Carroll Jesus branched out a bit. What else?
Somebody's texted, you had me slightly discombobulated there for a minute, Frank. Your thick accent made thumbs
How dare you?
sound like thongs.
Oh, so they're switching lights off with their thongs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably what happens when the parents aren't there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. We've also... That same Mark in Dunfermline has also added, P.S. Is that Marlon from Emmerdale you have on air with yourself and the sexy-sounding lady?
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Oh, isn't it?
I'm assuming that's me that he's
I
discussing.
thought you were Marlon from Emmerdale.
No, it's one of those clerical errors that's turned out in my
This is a bit
favour.
embarrassing, isn't it?
No, you were...
Didn't you tell me he was Marlon from Emmerdale?
No, he was the asthmatic in...
Jason the asthmatic in A&E.
Oh, yeah, I always get those two mixed up.
So
Well,
Frank,
I was Amos Brearley for a short period.
oh, lovely facial
So I
hair.
had this dream.
So
In
tell
this
us about the
dream,
dream.
right, I'm on a sort of a raised walkway. A sort
Oh,
of,
God, then a
almost-
shark came along and ate the bubble gum.
No, it's a bit more. I don't have those kind of In my
Okay.
dreams, I'm sort of in a supermarket. I buy some food and I go home. I don't know why I bother having a dream life at all. Nothing fantastical happens. Nevertheless, I was on a raised. I'm going to call it a gantry.
Okay.
And I looked down, and there was a car park, a large car park with people walking about. And who should walk across with a group of friends but Andy Murray, the well-known tennis player. He'd had his hair, I noticed. He'd had it slightly highlighted with red. So he had like
When you
red.
say I noticed, this didn't really happen.
No,
it was your
but
dream.
But even in the course, I thought, he's had his hair highlighted
Was he in
with
his
red.
civvies or in his tennis gear?
I don't recall.
Okay.
But
That's
what
part
he
of the
did,
problem
but
with dreams.
suddenly his right hand flashed out. I mean, like a lizard taking a horsefly off a leaf.
Uh-huh.
We were, and he's short. A pair of his shorts landed into my chest, like he'd quickly thrown
God.
them.
Like
at me.
Tom Jones found at a concert.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, Andy Murray, that's nice that he's thrown those, like you would, to a fan. And I looked in the pockets, and there was some dirty tissue.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, well, come on, he's a sportsman, you
filthy creep.
come on. And there was a pair of nail clippers,
Oh.
but open. Oh,
All right, ready
I mean,
to...
which you don't want in your pocket.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm talking thumb ramp raised.
I see him with quite a Middle-earth toe as well.
Do you think?
Quite a gnarled old foot.
Yeah, a battered. Yeah, because all that sport and all that sweat.
Yeah, he'd have a callus, wouldn't he?
Yeah, terrible. Rotten toes. Yeah, so that happened, and then he moved. He didn't even look round. But, you know, I tried to call to him, I remember, in a sort of thank you. And he sort of, oh, you've had your souvenir now. And he'd gone.
When you called, did you shout Andy or Mr. Murray? How formal?
I shouted Andy, I think.
Right.
Oh, did you?
I felt, you know, I've got his shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
How did it end, though, the dream?
dispensed
Then the
with
shark ate the
social
bubble gum.
No, it ended then.
Oh, did it?
That was it.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't hang around in my dreams because you get to an age where sleep is so next door to death that you can never really ease into it. You want to be on a stool rather than an armchair, just in case you forget to get up again. If you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I didn't dawdle there, but I have lay trying to work out.
It's a curious dream.
It is
great.
but they all
I have a theory on it, actually.
They all mean something. Well, let's listen to some adverts first of all. gather round, everyone, cross-legged on the floor.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So the only thing I can get out of this Andy Murray dream is that the fact that the nail clippers was open means that it could be a reference to the US Open.
That's not how dreams work.
Well, they do.
Puns.
There are puns, but it is sort of puns, isn't it? Dreams.
I thought it was your subconscious speaking to you.
That's how my subconscious speaks to me.
Puns
I
and
think
wordplay.
it's all about fatherhood.
Do you?
Dear.
You're now seeing yourself. This is a high-status person, and you're having to clear up their mess. To be honest,
yeah.
who's more important than you?
Oh, wow.
Which Pals is, let's be honest.
Oh, that's
You're
good.
now the sort of Arse Jeeves / cleaner role.
That is good. That
Really?
is good.
I think that's true, Frank.
Do you know what? You're definitely cleverer than me. I think I might have gone a bit too literal. I thought it might be that you needed to clip your toenails, and that your mind was saying, toenail clippers, nail clippers, because...
But why would they be delivered by Andy Murray in
Just
shorts?
because he's been in the news.
Through the medium of shorts. Why would they be delivered?
He's been in the news.
But now you come to mention it, we do clip Bozzy's fingernails
There
with
you go.
a little...
Like
Yeah.
you did Sheps.
And am I right in thinking that you've got some quite hard to clip toes?
Shut up about it.
I'm sure you've mentioned it.
Just leave it alone.
It's all right. I didn't realise that you were feeling sensitive.
I don't
about
like
wondering
the
if
sound
it was-
of the highlights. Makes me feel ill.
My
He had
toenail
highlights.
clippings are...
I think I was trying to feminise him a bit. Maybe I'm developing a sort of subconscious desire for Andy Murray.
Well,
Right,
exactly.
he's a
You were turning him
handsome
into
man.
old Marmurray, maybe.
You
Strong.
know, come round my house, the shorts will
Muscular.
be off.
shorts will be on.
We've got tissue, and make sure you've got your fingernails. It could be that kind of invite, if you know what I'm saying.
We've got tissue.
Anyway, we've got tissue. Yeah, I think it's a rap. Isn't that a big rap song? We've got tissue.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on. You were saying there.
No, I was going to...
There was definitely a Cochrelian remark being made.
Oh, right. It was back to toenails, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that mine are on the same trimming rotor as the dog's. When the dog needs her toenails clipped, I need mine done as well. They're growing at about exactly the same pace.
That's odd, because you'd think that hers would wear away, just general
You would.
walking around.
You would, yeah.
The way I was damned.
Like not pumicing, what's it called? Filing. Like a bit of a filing from the pavements.
Yeah.
But no, we seem about bob on. And I've told a few people that, and they've gone, ugh, as if either of us have got any control over how quickly our nails are growing.
I'll tell you what I do hate, is if... I like to cut toenails, fingernails in one sitting.
Oh, yeah.
But if I only do the one and they get out of sync,
Oh, yeah.
then it's a real... That's the thought. 'Cause I did a show this week which involved toenail clipping, so maybe I was worried about that.
I think it could be
But not anyway.
Frank, Sean O'Connor, not Tom O'Connor, but Sean O'Connor,
Yeah.
says, I'm surprised that Frank is a Freud fan. I would have thought Jung was more his bag.
Well, I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that, 'cause he's a bit more mystical.
Yes.
You're young. But
I love Young on Absolute
it's a
Radio.
bit. You know what I
Can
said
I just
last?
say?
You know when I said last week that James Callaghan, the former Prime Minister, waved at me, and so I thought I'll vote Labour the rest of my
Yes.
life. Well, I was in Vienna and I went to the rooms that Freud used to do his dealings in. There's still a thing there that says Freud 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock, like when he's in.
Oh, nice.
And so I thought, okay, I'll stick with this line of psychotherapy. You know, you make these decisions.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
One last point on this. The shorts thing could have come from the fact that I've been wearing the same shorts for 3 weeks.
What?
I walk
Have
in
you?
it. I walk into work in the morning, which takes me about an hour. So there is some perspiration. But I always think with shorts, and indeed with trousers in general, they're not really coming into contact, if you receive my meaning. So you can wear them really forever.
I beg to differ.
Do you?
I'm appalled.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Frank.
Shall we move on?
Yes. I think, you know what, where I think we should go?
Where? Oh, I tell you what, there is one place we could go to get out of this mess. I don't go command. Don't think I'm going commando. I'm not.
I think we
Right.
Email corner. Oh, saved by the sitar.
No, I'd just like to dip briefly back into Sleaze Corner.
Oh, you
Briefly.
said.
No, I
Very
just
funny.
want to say I'm going to quote your girlfriend Kathy, who once told me you were absolutely spotless,
Yes.
and I think that's true. So I'll let you off.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, I'd like to kick off email corner if that's all right. This is from Chris in Preston.
Okay.
He says, "Dear Frank, Emily, and Cockerell, listening to a recent podcast, I heard Alan mention how he's excited about runners listening to the show whilst on their Sunday long run. Just thought I'd let you know that I actually do my long run on a Saturday, thus
Oh,
missing
wow.
the show live, which I listen to on a Sunday or Monday. I've only ever listened to the show live once when injured. That is all. Chris in Preston."
Oh, I like that is all.
I like that as all. And I also like the
feel
fact
that.
that he's only heard the show live once whilst injured. Apparently, Michael Owen had the same rule and he's heard them all.
Yes.
There we
But
go.
I'd like people to listen to it on the podcast and stuff, but they don't hear any adverts, do they? Is there any adverts on the podcast? No, you
Don't
see.
think so.
I mean, how do they make their retail decisions without without this advice?
I don't know. How do they buy any car or
Yeah,
compare? What? How do
How do they make any comparisons in their life?
yeah. I bet he's in the tall supermarket thingy.com. No,
when we mentioned
I'd miss all that. That's my life.
when we mentioned the runners last week, we got a couple of texts in that were saying that they've that our podcasts have got them through 2 marathons and stuff like that. So that makes me feel like we're almost part of the running community without doing the running.
But when
Dan.
when my girlfriend Kath used to run, before her insides dropped out, she
Frank?
what? Have I said something? Oh God, what have I done now? Anyway, she used to listen to the show live on a small DAB radio as she ran. See, the two are not mutually exclusive. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as I think Bernard Matthews used to say, before they got those electric things in that they did them with.
It was him that invented that phrase. wasn't
It was, yeah. Oh God! Apparently, he could take 3 on a good day. They used to skim like off a lake. Oh well, that's yeah. I like the idea of people. When I used to run 6 miles a day, and I never listened to anything. I just like the
like the
sounds.
pushing.
I like the sounds of the world.
Yeah.
Did you?
But we're all different.
Oh, I like to block the world out.
I don't understand people that listen to stuff while swimming. I think that's weird. But anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Would you like to hear another email from
Of
the corner?
course, of course. Were you waiting for Alan to read it out?
I'm happy to read it.
No, it's too late now. That's like I
We're going
love
to do
you.
a turn taking.
No, go on, Em.
Okay, this is from Peter.
Hey, you give them a couple of seasons in Emmerdale Farm, they think they own the world.
Marlon.
How are we going to keep them down on the farm now that they've done Emmerdale? Oh.
I've just been listening to the podcast where you were talking about Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams.
I should say, by the way, in case you didn't listen last week, I once met Douglas Adams, and I thought he was... I got mixed up. I sang Bright Eyes, thinking he was Richard Adams, who wrote Watership Down, not
And
Douglas
I
Adams.
felt like ending my own life when I heard that anecdote.
Yeah, it was...
Douglas Adams, who is basically a god, I beg to differ.
I didn't know that, I didn't know.
Was famously terrible at meeting deadlines. Supposedly the only deadline he ever met was the very first episode of... He's called this H2G2 for the radio. I'm assuming that's Hitchhiker's Guide in sort of nerd speak.
Yes.
Nerd speak.
It is, yes.
H2G2.
He did. He was always late for I've heard that. I heard that Art Garfunkel stormed out the studio and wait any longer.
Oh.
That's when they did the Bright Eyes. No, well, it's because I really like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I hadn't discovered it at that point. So I wasn't in awe of him. First of all, I thought it was a different bloke, but when I did find out, I thought, oh, he wrote that Hitchhiker's Guide that I've never listened to. Now I've listened to it and really like it. Well, he's dead now, it's too late. Secret of this is, it's not never meet your heroes, it's never meet your heroes before they're your heroes.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Go on. Ah,
Well,
yes, Emily.
Rob from Harrogate says... He's asked a question, actually. Do the Frank is spotless years also span the pants last 2 days period? We Black Tour T-shirt wearers must be told.
Well, the thing is, that because I bathe so regularly, well, I shower a lot and scrub. I mean, when I'm in there, I really get it. As I've said before, Kat stands in the shower like someone at a bus stop. She goes in, she stands there and just thinks that the jet will do it all. But not Frank. I'm very meticulous. And it's like a pit stop when I go in there.
It's like a pit bull.
Yeah, so 2 days for a pair of pants was not a problem. But then I mentioned that on air. Kath hadn't realised, and she said it had to stop. So, as is the regular way in our house, I was oppressed.
You were oppressed?
I was oppressed, and I've had to wear... I had to buy some... Because I had 4 pairs that lasted me forever. I had to stock up. Anyway...
Oh yeah, you were after new pants, weren't you? You even dropped a few.
Enough pants talk.
I was after trainers, still nothing.
No, I don't like being after anything.
After. Well, I have a question for you.
Okay, I love a quiz.
I mean, you've... no, it's not a quiz question. You've espoused some excellent views off-air today on modern parenthood. I wondered if you were going to bring Buzz up with particular rules, because it says in the paper this week that Gwyneth Paltrow only lets her children watch TV cartoons in French and Spanish.
Magnifique.
She wants them to... Very good.
Yeah, por favor.
Wants them to be like you guys. To be like
I
you
heard
guys.
that. I heard that at the ambassador's
Multilingual.
house in Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Well, we have got Buzz on the baby TV. If you discovered baby TV,
What's baby TV?
it's big
all
bright.
about?
It's big bright shapes
Oh,
and
yeah.
faces.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I don't know about in the
strap
night
him in his
garden and
chair,
stuff like that.
put him in front of that, and the
Yeah.
chair from behind. The chair's rocking about like it's like he's on a big fairground ride. So we do that. But one of the things about Gwyneth Paltrow is her first child was called Apple.
Yeah.
And I bet you the Cores were absolutely upset that they missed out on that one.
Oh, Frank, you're right.
Hey, God, they must have been sickened. And John Peel as well. I bet he thought, oh, why didn't I?
I think it's a good idea.
Lee Mack thought, oh, Apple, that would have been...
Apple. Very good, very good.
I like the way that Alan has to say them out loud to get them.
That last one I really had to.
Good on you.
Lovely work, though.
It did. It was a
Refreshingly simple.
Steve Jobs moment, that was, wasn't it? I nearly tucked my jumper into my jeans just for a second.
I think it's a very good idea, though.
I like it.
It's education by stealth, which I approve of.
Yes, that's
Always
Very
by
good.
stealth.
Yeah.
And it saves on the old Rosetta Stone, which is quite pricey these days.
It is, yeah.
Exactly, they're probably struggling a bit for a few quid, aren't they?
I used to
Gwyneth
use...
and Chris.
Do you know, are you familiar with Michelle Thomas's...
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Je vais, I'm on my way. So he used to teach everything like that. But you could hear his dentures.
Oh, really?
So it's say blah. Well, I can't think of any French to say.
Okay.
But-
Je suis désolé.
Yeah. Je suis désolé. I thought it was part of the. I thought it was one of those African, one of those things you had to do it. It kept me going. Je vais, I'm on my way. No.
So do you now speak fluent denture French, like
Exactly.
the weird?
French. What they call it.
But the Magic Roundabout was a French show originally.
Was it?
Do you know that was originally called Le Manège Enchanté, which is so much nicer,
It is.
I think.
I quite like the Magic
did they-
Roundabout. Though.
And it sounds like something that might happen with your colleagues in the S&M community, I think, Frank.
Well, I don't know about Enchanté.
I don't like being enchanted.
No. I suppose we might use that as a safety word. But, yeah, I suppose if I could teach Boz anything at all, it'd be the Vulcan death grip.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Because what I'd like, to be absolutely honest, and I think
What's
most...
that? Sort of Mick McManus move?
You know that thing that Mr. Spock can do?
Oh,
when he
yeah.
goes,
Oh, okay.
So, he could be... It means... I'd like him to grow up to be polite and kind and amiable, but with the potential to be a killing machine in a difficult situation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
As long as it's contained. I don't want him to be one of those kids who kills me and Kat just to find out what killing feels like. You know those kind of kids.
Yeah.
But someone who, if it comes to it, could
Really?
they'd behead if they had to.
You want him
Yeah.
to be a bit tasty.
Yeah, but never use it. But then there's
No.
that one time, like in Shane, the Western, when they treat him bad, and then he said, "No, I'm not having this anymore." And that's what you want.
Yeah.
I can see him now in his Calvin classics.
Oh yes. Well, I'm leaving those in my will. Still a bit of elastic left in them. And obviously, I shall teach him to respect the elderly as a sort of an investment plan for me. Yeah, but so I'd like him to be polite but lethal.
Well, Robert Peter Williams, a.k.a. Robbie Williams,
Oh
who
yeah.
had a child this week.
Yes, I know.
Did you see the baby pictures, by the way?
I love that picture.
Yep.
Of course,
I didn't.
I thought that's a beautiful picture, and then I looked at the Daily Mail comments, and I thought, perhaps I didn't realise he was a vile scumbag who can only love himself.
Yeah.
I didn't get that from the picture. Some people, they see so deeply into things, don't they?
They're horrible.
I didn't like I thought there was a bit of an excess of what they call ink, I think, in
What?
the tattoo community.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of
Can't
tattoos.
undo his tattoos for a
I
baby
know, but it just
picture,
looked a
though,
bit
can he?
strange ways. I didn't like it.
No, but I'll tell you
fine.
what was good about that is
Fine.
I have a bath now with Boz, and we've got a waterproof book, Freddy the Frog, and a waterproof book in the bath is really of quite a boon. I don't know what they don't do them for adults.
No, I would like that.
Yeah, you can actually you can put it below the surface of the water and read it, which is amazing. But I'm thinking Robbie don't need that. He can just sit and read his dad.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, Frank, I'm interested to hear your views on this scrap of paper that has been under a great deal of scrutiny this week. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it your birth certificate?
How dare you? No, but it dates from a similar time. It's actually a piece of... I always get nervous about this pronunciation. Do you say papyrus?
I'd say papyrus.
I'd say papyrus.
Let's
Let's call the whole thing...
scroll.
Okay.
I would say papyrus as well, just if you wanted,
Okay.
out of the three.
Well, it's from the 2nd century AD. That's the key thing. So around the Triffids' time.
Okay, yes.
But apparently this paper suggests that Mary Magdalene... Now, she was the naughty one, wasn't she? Bit of a naughty lady.
Well, that's the theory.
Yeah. She may have been married to Jesus, because on this piece of papyrus...
This is Dan Brown again, isn't it? That's in the Da Vinci Code, isn't
But
it?
Jesus refers to her as my wife. Is what I've... In a Northern Club comic way, he says, take my wife.
In the midst of, the Sermon on the Mount. Anyway, take my wife, please.
Well, in fact, in the same thing...
Fishes, anyone? Yeah.
He also refers to my mother, and I think in-law might have just come off, because I suspect, he would have, as part of his material. But what do you think of this? Seriously, though?
Seriously, what do I think?
Seriously, though.
what it is, it's from another gospel. There was loads of different gospels about, all different views. And some got in the big book and some didn't. And it's just one of the ones that didn't get in. But I don't think it really... I mean, I would like to have been at that wedding.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant. Imagine when you went in, the usher said, bride's wife on the left and the groom's... bride's family on the left, groom's family everywhere.
Oh.
Wow.
I wouldn't have minded going, because I bet there would have been loads of wine. Don't you reckon?
Well, initially, but if there's any trouble, it would all become water.
Yeah.
He could reverse if he had to.
Or could he do the reverse?
Oh, God,
I never
yeah.
knew that.
Oh, he had a reverse gear.
Or it could have
He could
been
do
the
it all. He could
reception.
do Vulcan Death Grip.
Like, they could have had a reception and just loads of flatbread and, fizzy wine that wasn't quite right. And him going, no, I've not been practising anything. What are you on about?
If they find it's authentic, will Mary Magdalene's descendants be able to claim half the universe
Oh, yeah.
in the settlement?
Unless there was a prenup.
Yeah,
She was the
that could
first
be prenup.
first pedicurist, is what I like to call her.
Was she?
Yeah, the feet washing.
Yeah, they don't even know if that was her.
Was it not?
And there's this thing about her being a
A bit Stringfellows.
prostitute. A prostitute. There's nothing, no evidence for that at all in
The Lady of the Night. Is
Yeah,
that what
she weren't. There's no evidence for that. Church wedding, do you think?
Oh, lovely.
rather than just pop down the registry office and get it
See,
over
I
with.
mean, you got to support the family business a bit.
Exactly.
Seems wrong to me.
You got it with the wife.
Yeah.
Frank,
Stag do?
I liked enjoyed the...
Quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Just the 13 of us.
Just a bit of bread and wine, that'll do it. You sure? That'll be... Yeah, that'll be fine. And this room, we've got this room to ourselves. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Frank, one of my favourite Daily Mail comments. We're all fans of the Daily Mail comments
course.
here.
Oh, very much.
But some chap commented when it was being poo-pooed, the theory. Some chap commented, that'll upset the feminists determined to marry him off. I enjoyed that one. It doesn't kind of make any sense either,
no.
which I enjoyed.
What
Why would the
logic?
feminists want to marry him off?
All the best... well, I suppose they want to say behind every great man there's
Oh, I
a great
see.
woman and
Oh,
all
right,
that.
yeah.
It does make it clear, if he was married, it does sort of back up the theory that he was a celibate. And that he... and that he very happily went to crucifixion.
I like the fact that the single person laughed loudest at that.
To me, any wedding where there isn't someone wearing a kilt is good. That's how I judge my weddings. What about when they said till death us do part, and he said, why?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Somebody's texted Frank, I would like to buy my husband a Fall album for his birthday. Which would you recommend?
Well, I
luck.
always think, pardon?
Good luck. Or bon chance.
I'd say if you want to buy him a greatest hits album, there's one called 50,000 Fall Fans Can't Be Wrong.
That's the one I've
I've
got.
got that
It's a good-
T-shirt.
it's a good place to start,
but
isn't it?
if you're a person who doesn't like greatest hits albums, I'm suspicious of greast hits. I like
Yes,
one
if you
that's as
don't
well.
like the commercial aspect of the Fall greatest hits.
Yes. There's one called The Real New Fall album, which I think is a good sort of gentle way in.
A gentle
Okay.
I'm
Or
gonna write that down.
live at the witch trials if you want to go in at the deep end.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Or we could bankrupt this woman by saying, go on iTunes and buy them all. Buy every album.
No,
Just
don't-
by
don't-
now-
don't do that. That's a lot of albums.
Just by now, that's what I call Marquis Smith. That's
Yes.
what I buy. Frank, Jamie Barber has just tweeted us at Frank on Absolute. He says, "Is this Papyrus the first Cliff Richard calendar?" There you go.
Excellent.
Yes.
You look good in those days, Cliff.
In those days. He looks good now.
He still looks pretty good, Frank.
Big mate of Jesus, of course. We'll be finding Of course, it'd be an even bigger story if we found out Cliff was married. Oh, dear.
Oh dear. So, Frank, I'm going to take us into Fashion Corner briefly.
Oh.
I wish we'd got... Let me see if I've got
We
anything...
need you have a little hunt around Marquis Smith style with the knobs there for a jingle.
we don't have an actual Fashion Corner jingle,
Oh.
but there must be something that would fit the bill. No.
That's so.
Oh, well, this is a bit
so
sort of-
unstylish.
this is a bit Paris Fashion Week.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's good, Frank.
Okay, fashion cupboard.
Okay. So I had a fashion-based incident this week.
Lovely.
No, not lovely. It was a disaster. I had a meeting this week with someone, and shortly before the meeting...
Vague.
I spilt black Americano all over my Breton top. It wasn't good. So it was like a little map of Italy on my Breton top.
You don't want that on a Breton top. That's very confusing.
And it's not a good look going into
A Breton top is like is one of those blue and white hoop.
the blue and white stripe.
Like what Jean-Paul Gaultier used to wear
Very
a lot
good,
of.
Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Often combined with a kilt. I didn't mind him in a kilt. Not at a wedding.
Okay. So I did what I would advise anyone to do in this situation, which is you go into the fashion cupboard to find a replacement item.
Let me stop you there. Now, for anyone doesn't know that Emily works in the fashion business.
Yes.
For a fashion magazine, and they have a thing not called the clothes cupboard, where there are clothes you can get in such an emergency at a spilt coffee, but called the fashion cupboard, as if it contains the very essence of fashion in there. That's what I like. It's like me having a wheel in my house where I keep some very informative, wise readings.
In many ways you do, Frank.
Yeah, I do.
So I needed a bit of a Clark Kent quick change.
Yeah.
I said, girls, get me another Breton. That's how I can be. I can just say, get me another Breton.
Can you just give us a little? How big is the fashion cupboard?
Yeah.
Oh, it's big. It's big, and it's filled with rails. I mean, it's a large room.
Oh, really?
Okay. And rail after rail of
Rail
new,
after rail
new
of
clothes that you
yeah.
can just help yourself.
No,
to.
you can't help yourself. The very idea.
Yeah.
The very
What are
idea.
they for?
No, they're for shoots. So in an emergency, I would take this Breton top. I'd obviously pay for it. Of course I would.
No one's
would
even
you?
debating
Yes.
that. Let me write that down. In
Thank
fact.
you. But it's useful in an emergency situation. But there's a really strange noise going
There's a
on. Is someone breaking into Absolute Radio?
Maybe they can't hear it on air, but
Okay.
it feels like someone in a hover car has entered the building.
I think that security guard's gone postal. He always had it in
lock
him.
that door.
I know.
It's time for the generation game. I'll tell you what. Can you bookmark this story?
we will.
I'm gonna have a small break, and we're going to investigate.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Can I just send out a big shout going out to the workmen upstairs? Can you cease and desist from the drilling
a lot
temporarily?
of big shouts going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found out what the drilling was.
We love you, but
Turns out that Christian O'Connell has a small kiosk on the ground floor where he cuts keys and does minor shoe repairs on a Saturday. I didn't know. Called Christian O'Cobblers. Yeah. Now there's some workmen. Is that what they call them, workmen?
oh,
There's
they
some
might
people
be
drilling
quite nice. I'll
upstairs.
go and say hello later.
But, so that's it. You probably didn't even hear it at home and don't
No.
care.
No.
But, to us, it's like one of the big events that's ever happened at Absolute. There was bear in mind, on a Saturday, there's no one in Absolute. You probably imagine a throbbing radio station. There's no one here. There's us and Tanya Snoggs.
Yeah.
And suddenly we heard drilling. We looked at Tanya through the window. She looked at us. It wasn't any of us.
And you have to bear in mind, everyone has got their phone on airplane mode, so they're thinking it's not a phone in a bag going. Zzz, it's not.
No,
it's not. We
exactly.
know it can't
Exactly.
be.
But there's no one in the building. I can't tell you how much stuff we nick on Saturday.
Do you know what? I love a good rummage on the OC's desk. I won't lie. Those little chef
He
lollipops.
He gets a
you
lot
have
of
filled my
plenty of those,
boots.
didn't you?
He's got the hardback version of the Shades of Grey book.
I know.
The
I saw
hardbacks.
that.
Heavy.
Yeah, that'd be a good waterproof book if you could. So anyway, I think we were in the fashion cupboard.
Well, in fact, Ricky has just tweeted us to say, my girlfriend suffered the same fate with tea at the Dorchester. Unfortunately, she had no fashion cupboard to hand. Well, there you go.
Well, it is. It is difficult.
Well, I was able to
popped it all
borrow
down a
/
Breton.
buy.
Even Angela Merkel. Did you see that? A bloke dropped three or four
Accidentally on
glasses of beer
purpose.
down.
Oh,
the
yeah.
back.
She needed a fashion cupboard.
She did. She
so
does
anyway,
generally, really.
As I was
She
walking...
needs locking in a fashion cupboard.
I'll agree with you
Yeah,
there,
after what they
Frank.
did to Anne Frank, you must admit there would be a certain justice in that.
Extraordinary.
The Diary of Anne Winterson. Anyway, carry on.
So I'm walking to my appointment in the borrowed item from the fashion cupboard, which I fully intend to pay for.
What did you go for?
It was another Breton, but it had a lace detail.
Oh, lovely.
I suddenly noticed, Frank, as I sat down, made myself comfortable, there's a giant plastic security disc.
Oh, no.
Not far from the chest area.
Oh, and they are nipple-esque.
It wasn't a good look.
No.
I mean, shoplifting is not really a deal winner in the fashion industry.
No.
So just as I was getting over that shock, thinking, what am I going to do? I noticed giant sales tag hanging out. One of those big cardboard ones, you know, when there are 3 at once,
God,
like a pack of cards.
You look like Paddington Bear.
I did.
Oh, no.
I know.
Were you able to rescue it in time?
I ripped it off discreetly, the tag, and I threw it under the table, sort of Andy Murray tissue style. But you know what I feel? I realised I felt so humiliated with the tag showing. It's my worst fear, that. I don't know why. I'm very phobic about exposed
the
tags.
security tag, or just a
security
normal
tag.
label?
Any label.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a problem with it, I wouldn't have thought.
I'm amazed no one ever told the Mad Hatter. They just let him walk around with the price on. People were very cruel in those. Yeah, the label thing though. I don't want to get saucy. You know, it's not in my nature. But if you take a very finely crafted thong,
Oh God!
often,
Did you say thumb?
thong?
No, he said thong.
Of a see-through nature. And their idea of them is that they're meant to be, saucy and titillating. And then there's like a big label.
Yeah.
Saying Poundland in big letters.
When the notion of seeing through, what you don't want to, what you're hoping to see is, lovely soft skin.
Mm-hmm.
Not washing instructions.
Yeah.
I think we've all leaned over in mid a passionate moment and thought, "I'd wash only." That's a bit overcautious. Hate it.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Email corner. You don't have to go to India to get real Indian food.
Is that an old advert?
Yeah. Only 30 yards from this cinema.
Whoever did that? Oh, you did, Frank. So.
You remember a lot of old adverts.
I bet Frank went to that restaurant.
There used to be one, it's like a cartoon Sergeant Major. It used to begin by saying, "By the right, used cars." And then he talked about used cars. Excellent.
I remember one, I'm sorry, but I have to, my favourite was for Meadway Cars in London, and it had someone, and they were about to be shot by a firing squad.
Okay.
And then they had their kind of last request, and they called a cab, and they did that.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Everyone used to speak like that on the phone in the 70s. Anyway.
Well,
we're in email corner. We haven't done an email yet.
Let me address that very problem right now, and I'm going to take a somewhat serious tone at the beginning, but I don't want you to be alarmed.
I love it when you do that.
Dear Frank, Alan and Emily, on the subject of whether to have one's bedroom door open or closed, we had a discussion last week or the week before, I don't know if you remember, but people that have just tuned in, we were discussing somebody that emailed in, and they went away with somebody who slept with the door open, they slept with it closed. So,
yes.
Which is correct. Which is right.
Well.
On the subject of whether to have one's bedroom door open or closed, it is recommended to have your door closed because if there is a fire, it will block smoke. Smoke inhalation while you are sleeping is the leading cause of deaths from fire. If you have a working smoke alarm, I did say I'd do the serious voice.
Yeah, exactly.
And your door closed, it will increase your chances of survival should you have a fire. If Emily is ever in Vancouver and would like to go out with me...
No, you can't.
He has. He only has.
You can't have a night's move in a serious health warning.
Public information announcement.
It's a smart move, isn't it? If Emily's ever in Vancouver and would like to go out with me, keeping in mind it would probably destroy my marriage and happy family life, she is more than welcome. Alex, 38, in jeans and black tour T-shirt, Vancouver.
I've always fancied dabbling with a Canadian. A bit less crude than the Americans.
Yeah, I like a Canuck.
Oh.
I like the Canadians, and I've very briefly been to Vancouver, but it's nice.
However, I'm not sure about the advice. Because
really?
this thing about if you shut the door, the smoke doesn't come in.
Yeah.
You see, the smoke tends to emanate from my bedroom. Not
Also,
coming-
what if you're in bed with Dr. Cotton? Then there's,
Well, exactly.
You know.
Let's face it, wouldn't be the first time. No, but
That's a chapter of your book I missed.
I sleep in quite a smoky bedroom because I have a Native American baby monitor.
Oh, yeah.
So we get various puffs of smoke suggesting, how upset he is and what sort of gurgling and all that. Yeah, but also I have a stable door on my bedroom. You know, the one of those
Right.
that opens the half.
Oh.
Yeah, so that I speak to tradesmen completely naked in the mornings. If they're in the. If, like, the driller's upstairs, I would have called out from the bed. I'd have just leaned on it, It can be very cooling in the morning as well, as long as you watch out for the splinter areas.
I could have done with a stable front door the other day. Got a delivery. I had a day off ill this week.
Did you?
I was not well.
I had no idea.
I had to answer the door.
We'll
whilst-
talk about this off air in case it was a sexually transmitted disease. But tell us the story.
No, it's not a story. Just I had to answer the door in a
I'd love
dressing
you
gown
to call
and
in
pyjama
sick
bottoms.
to work with
You
that.
entered the door in a dressing gown.
I answered the door in a dressing gown and
Fabulously.
pyjama at like 2:30 in the afternoon or something to a delivery.
Oh, that's so loose.
Some sort of northern Hugh Hefner.
And I had to say to him, I'm off ill. Like that.
Did you?
I felt compelled to tell him. He can't just think that I'm a guy that's in his dressing gown and top and pyjamas at 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't want him thinking that about me.
No, well, you were right to put that. Put
So
that
I
in.
did.
Yeah,
So I
good,
did.
good on you.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Emails we were in. We're still
Oh,
in
yeah.
email corner. I haven't.
Still
we need an exit jingle for it.
Oh, yeah.
We're leaving email corner.
Maybe the same man that submitted
Hey.
the email corner jingle will rustle us one up.
Why don't we do it with, in Bullseye when they lost, they did it in a minor key? That's what we'll do.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know if I can do that off the top of my head.
I probably can.
Email corner. Yeah, there you go. Surprised myself with that one.
This is from Tom Bennett.
I
He
like
says, after the excitement of the Olympic parade, it was unlikely that Monday could be topped. This is this Monday just gone. But the sight of Frank honing his pedestrian racing skills along the bank of the Thames certainly came close. Frank looked remarkably dashing for a man recovering from the rigours of parenthood and his recent toothache situation, decked out in a stylish green jacket. Oh, Robin of Sherwood. With earphones firmly planted. Two questions came to mind. What audiobook is Frank listening to at the moment? And has the delectable Emily, his words, not mine, ever taken fashion advice from him? OK, darlings, love you loads. Tom Bennett. Oh, he's very glasses on a lanyard, Frank.
Yes, well, I think that's a reference to you saying that.
Oh,
isn't it?
well, I
he's-
think so.
His finger on the pole. The
Yeah.
green jacket was, I believe, was a cagoule.
Really? Did you also have your walking shorts on? Was that... Were you...
I might have. I think that was. I might have gone tracksuit bottoms that day, but I might have gone. No, actually, I think I would have been. Oh, who can say? But definitely, I think that was a cagoule, which I've only just learnt how to spell. What about that?
Cagoule?
Yeah, I thought. How would you spell cagoule?
K-A-G-O-U-L.
I thought it was C.
Huh?
C-A-G, I'd go for.
C-A-G what?
O-U-L. Oh.
No.
E.
E, that's it. Yes, cagoule apparently is a brand name with a K.
Oh, is it?
It's C-A-G-O-U-L-E. I didn't know that. Spelling here on...
You thought you were listening to Radio 4. You were wrong.
But I am listening to a very interesting book. But maybe I'll tell you in the third hour. When the moon is in the seventh hour, everybody, and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will rule the planet. I don't feel people are joining in it. I'm no psychic, but I just don't feel they are.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Let me hear you say yeah.
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 Okay. I was talking about my...
Yeah, because Tom Bennett had emailed and
Yeah.
he'd had a sighting of you and wanted to know what audiobook you were listening
I'm
to.
actually currently listening to a thing called Jack's Book, which is it's a sort of collection of Jack Kerouac. You know Jack
Oh,
Kerouac?
I thought it was JFK's little black book. That'd be interesting reading.
Well, that'd be a long read.
Well thumbed.
And he certainly was. And
It's that chapter.
he would have been if he went out with women nowadays, because their thumbs are getting bigger because of texting. Anyway, so Jack Kerouac was. I recommend. It's a fabulous, fabulous audio book, and it's the sort of book. Jack Kerouac was very much into jazz. It's the sort of book that could make you get into jazz if that was possible, which obviously it isn't.
No.
Jazz is so awful.
Not a fan, Frank.
Apart from that, I'm not. I've tried. You know, I've really tried because it's a cool thing to like.
What about Cleo Lane? You must like a bit of Cleo Lane.
No, I've never been down there, but I've heard that there is a good club down there. I didn't mind that. Well, Cleo Lane's sort of.
She was. I think we could say.
I'm finished. Did you think I'd finished? That's what she is. I might try it with the baby afterwards, see how he likes it.
She was scatty, I think we could safely describe
Well, I
her.
think that was the Drains. William S. Burroughs is also features in that book. Do you know him? Who wrote Naked Lunch?
Oh, he's another one of those, is what I call that lot.
Yes, he is one of those.
Well, let's not be homophobic. He, although he was married, of course, briefly, and until him and his wife were playing William Tell at a party. William Tell, I don't know if you know, is that you put something on your head, like a glass, and the other person has to shoot it off with a real gun.
Really?
And they did that with a glass. I imagine it was a shot glass.
Very good.
And he went a bit low and took the top of her head off.
Is that
William
right?
S. Burroughs, yeah. So that was.
That I did not know.
So if there's any, don't try that home, anyone listening. Stick to charades. You might have a few rows, but you generally will be able to. If you go out raining, it won't get on your brain. Little bit of advice there.
I like the fact that you recommended the book you're reading. I have long said that we should start some kind of Frank Skinner book club, but today now I think we should start two things, the Frank Skinner book club and the Frank Skinner dream analysis clinic.
Yeah, not a dream, because people will start sending in their dreams,
Yeah,
and then I'll have to move to Smooth
like
FM. And I don't want to drown in Buble. I don't think anyone does, really, do they?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Here's what we need to talk about. A story this week about a woman who was high on drink and drugs and stole a passenger ferry.
I was here all the time.
And then crashed into boats shouting, "I'm Jack Sparrow," has been jailed. Alison Whelan. Seems a bit strict, doesn't it?
What's
I like she said, "I'm Jack Sparrow, I'm Spartacus."
Yeah, but jailing seems unfair. They should have made her walk a plank, really, shouldn't they?
The Daily Mail said that she claimed that she'd have ended up in Saint-Tropez if they hadn't caught her.
I like that.
She didn't claim that, did she? She speculated.
Yeah.
Also, it's a bit of Fred Goodwin.
But it's also a bit of the arrogance of somebody really drunk that just assumes that, oh, if you'd let me do that, I would have done it really well and ended up in somewhere good.
There's all sorts of tidal considerations.
Exactly.
Frank, can I tell you what else? My favourite thing.
I like the idea she'd have sobered up and been reading, like, sea charts.
Just some charts. Hold on,
hang on.
Turns out, if I'm not mistaken... Hold on, can you pass us that sextant? Turns out I've ended up in Saint-Tropez.
Frank, can I say my favourite thing about this story, other than the fact that she was drinking Lambrini, was the fact that she shouted to police at one point, "I believe this is out of your jurisdiction," which is so someone who's watched Miami Vice too many times.
As someone who used to listen to Radio Caroline and has thought, oh yeah, I'm offshore now, so they can't touch me.
Yeah.
Not true. Absolutely not.
She might well have used to listen to Radio Caroline. She's 51. That was the thing that
She
amazed
is 51. In the picture, she did not look unlike Jack Sparrow. In fact, she looked a bit like that. You know that one who's sort of half fish in Pirates of Thing? The man with like the sort of decaying ghost face.
Yeah.
Who's got like...
Bill Nighy?
Yeah.
No, he does play him. I think he does.
Yes, and what I'm saying is she has... To slightly paraphrase Anne Widdecombe, she has something of the Nighy about her.
I know what you mean, the smeared eyeliner and the slightly Tim Minchin hair.
She looks... Yeah, she does... She's a bit Minchin.
Yeah.
I think Minchin is what they described her as in the... Oh, no, Mingin. Sorry.
She shouted,
Just reading
"I'm
the
a
comics.
pirate," which I don't. I think that was quite an unwise admission.
But the odd thing, I know nothing about modern decadence at all. I've heard of Lambrini.
Okay.
I think I used to...
That's not really decadence, Frank. It's a bit Poundland. We shouldn't probably
is
be
it?
rude about Lambrini.
No, don't
it's
be
a lovely
Lambrini.
drink.
It's a very nice scooter.
But what were you going to say?
She also had been eating deadly nightshade.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, now, I didn't know you could eat deadly nightshade.
I thought it said something like that she'd been eating hallucinogenic plants.
Oh, well, you should have read further
It
down.
was mushrooms.
No, I'm afraid it was deadly nightshade.
Oh, my goodness.
Which I then looked up on Wikipedia, because I thought it was a killer. All I knew about it is there used to be a kid in Dennis the Menace's gang called Dudley Nightshirt. If you remember him. But anyway, no, people do use... They used to use it off of poison-tipped arrows.
Is that right?
But now they use it as an hallucinogenic drug. Can you believe that? No, that wasn't a rhetorical question. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Yeah. I was knocked out by it.
So what happened? They basically...
I used to have a poison-tipped arrow myself.
Frank.
But, antibiotics.
Frank.
Well, I didn't know.
I think it's quite an old-fashioned crime. Quite
Certainly
a sweet...
made me quiver. Sorry, carry on. It is... What, old-fashioned?
Never ends.
What, piracy? It is
Piracy
quite
is
old-fashioned.
old-fashioned.
It's a bit like an old smuggler. I like it. But she
is.
doesn't realise now, because there's sort of maritime police and things involved, and nautical patrols. I think she probably did think she could just carry on.
Well, it says that in a strange ending to the story, it says that she's due for a liver transplant soon. Did you read that bit?
I'm sure this will push her right to the top of the list.
Yeah, I hope she's going to use it wisely. It's like she's used up that one. It's like she's just changing the filter and carrying on. No, so what a character she is. I mean, she's someone who would have slotted in very easily with the likes of Blackbeard. Can't think of any other pirates. Can you name any other pirates?
Long John Silver, was he a pirate?
He was. I don't think he was. I don't think he was real, was he?
Oh,
Right.
Captain Pugwash.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want real
I'm
pirates?
pretty sure he was real.
Yeah.
I think, actually, I met him at Premiere.
You've worked with them all, haven't you?
So that was Alan Yentob.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right. I've made such a fool of myself.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I have a confession to make today.
Okay, do you want me to?
It's
Do you want me to put the grill up, or we're going to do it face to face?
It's the not that kind of confession.
Oh, okay.
Be first time for everything, though, I suppose.
You'd be surprised. It's very cleansing.
Is it? So I hear. I'll be honest. My wife has lost the plot.
Oh dear.
She's it's gone. We've given up the allotment. We had a conversation and said this is too much work for too little return. I think we got one courgette
What? From an allotment?
from a whole allotment
yeah.
out of a year and a
That
half.
was a really big one.
No, apparently.
Oh,
Well,
what
it
a
was.
beauty. I've never seen one as big as that big.
You love a vegetable-based song.
I do.
It was actually too big for a courgette. She said to me, "Oh yeah, I picked it too late," and I went, "What are you talking about? That looks like
Is it
a
more
really
of a
good."
marrow?
That's the problem. If you pick a courgette too late, it becomes marrow.
Does it really?
Yeah,
No,
they grow
let's
into
face it,
marrows.
no one likes marrow.
Well, good to
Who likes marrow?
They grow into marrows. Every day's a school day, as Mr. Skinner would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never
That's
knew
frightened
that.
a lot of kids listening. Oh, God. Where's my blazer? They're saying, they're not actually, they're saying, where's my sweatshirt with a school badge on?
Unless they go somewhere posh. Where's my blazer and butter?
Where's
They
my
would
DS
probably-
guy?
Well, that's a
what they're
shame,
saying.
though, because there's something... I love the idea of having an allotment. It's
Well,
closeness to the earth and all
This
that.
is it. I have to be honest. We're only in our 30s, and I think that is the problem. That
Just?
It's the idea of the allotment is better than the reality of an
So
allotment.
Peugeot were right. I know they said the reality is even better than the dream, didn't they?
Not when it comes to allotments. And I think perhaps it might be that I'm quite a tall man, and once we'd got past the point of digging and it being quite nice, satisfying graft, it was then like weeding.
Can I
and
ask
that
you
just
a
takes me too
practical
long
question?
to get down there.
I've never been to an allotment.
Yeah, ask me some practical questions.
I've seen them on
about it.
telly because I think one of the characters in EastEnders had it.
Hold on,
Probably
can I just
Emmerdale
get
as well.
back on my chair? I've fallen off because the shock that Emily's never been to an allotment. I thought you'd have one of them. Surely.
You mean In Style magazine don't have a plot that you all go down?
They have
into?
the allotment cupboard where you go in and get some parsnips.
Did you run low? What happens on an allotment? So presumably there's a gate.
Nothing. One courgette in a year and a half. Nothing happened.
Are there toilet facilities?
No.
So what do you do? And what do you eat?
There's toilet facilities if you're a horse.
Oh, how dare you? Do you take sandwiches?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
that's
grow
nice.
sandwiches, that's the idea.
You're not going to chew an old courgette, are you?
No.
You do go past allotments that are
Where can
absolutely...
I find them?
It's a good question.
Where are they? Where are all the allotments? Motorway, on near
I
motorways.
don't like to answer any question with Google, but if you want to
Okay.
find your local allotment, then Google's
They're not
probably...
easy to get. There's a waiting list usually for
No, there was
Oh,
a waiting
now I like
list.
them.
You know, there was a waiting list. 3 years we waited for ours.
terrible
and-
that you've
and
left.
We've
It-
given it up in a year and a half.
You sure you didn't? You and your wife didn't taste from the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and were banished from the allotment?
No, we did get a warning letter about 6 months ago saying, could you tidy your allotment up? It's
Did
got
you?
a bit overgrown.
Who sends you that?
God.
The powers that be. Well, it's Messenger on Earth, so, you know, a lady that...
It's funny you should say that, because I tasted of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and immediately cancelled my membership of the Catherine Jenkins fan club. By the way, on the subject of Catherine Jenkins, I do you know where she's from?
I always feel slightly tense when
Well-
you say, on the subject of Catherine Jenkins. I don't know why that
Where
could
you
be.
say where she's from, where she hails from?
Yeah, where she hails from.
Oh, she's Welsh,
where
is she?
Where she hails from. Where she hails from.
She's from she's from Hades, isn't she?
She's not. She's from. She's from Wales, and she's from a place called Neath, which is so obviously beneath. It's so obvious that she's from beneath. I mean, all the clues are there. What? How long before we seize upon it? People are just letting it. Oh, anyway.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
When your allotment's getting a bit overgrown and it's clear that you've lost interest in it, is it like when you're in a car? You know, when you sit in a car and then someone who thinks, oh, well, they're obviously leaving, comes and pulls up and waits for you to pull out. Are there people hanging around waiting for your allotment to
Well, I
come
suppose, yeah, not in their physical being, but they're on a list and they've been on it for 3 years. That's why you get a telling off.
You've made someone very happy. Let's look at it that way as a positive thing.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not that we've given it up, it's that they've got it. That's-
Enid! There's a letter from allotment people. Come quickly. Gather the children.
Yeah. I feel better
So will
about
be
it
a
now.
letter as well. They won't have email.
no, it'll be
Enid's got no
No,
email.
they phone you. They phone you.
Are they
They phone you.
Guy
They phone
phones.
you on the home phone, I bet, as well.
Exactly that.
I bet they
oh,
do.
we were
On the
startled.
landline.
I bet they do.
Phoned on the
I
landline.
forgot. You know, I think I might
Hello?
have
Dudley
I think I've got a
2908?
You know that?
What?
I think I've got a landline somewhere in the phone.
You think you've got a
I think I put it in a cupboard, but it's still plugged in.
It's probably in the cupboard with all the other stuff that you've not used for a while. Have you got stuff you've given up on? I know you had a hula hoop and that's gone.
Oh well, it's still there, but I haven't hooped. for
But
a
also
while.
there was a great row of New Year's Eve 2010, I
exactly. I
believe.
never really got
What
back
was
from
that?
it. I'll tell you what
Really?
I have given up on. I think I've accepted the fact I will never be in Doctor Who.
Have you?
I got my manager.
Why would you want to?
I'm going to fess up to this. I got my manager
Awful.
to phone up the Doctor Who people when I heard this series was
You-
being filmed.
Shut up.
And I
that's
said, look,
great.
I'm happy to be in a monster outfit. I'll just walk by in the background. I just want to be able
You
to
did
say
it.
I've been...
Oh
yeah.
my god, this is the most humiliating thing. Regional sci-fi? That's what you want to be in? You're one of the comic greats.
I think it is national.
You are one of the comic greats, and you are aspiring towards regional
can you
sci-fi.
take that, you're one of the comic greats, and put it out on the trailer?
Frank, I don't want you being in that. It's bad for your brand. We'll discuss it in the
But
break.
if I'm dressed as a Cyberman, who's going to know?
No, and it's the kind of actors in it are all people in the Gold Blend advert. I won't have you doing that.
That's not... I don't think
It's
that's fair, is it?
true. It's true. I don't like Doctor Who. Sorry, but
Did
I
they
don't.
say no, though? Did they say...
Well, he never mentioned it again, so I take it was he couldn't break it to me. I mean, I would have happily just been, man playing darts back at Rover's Return while Ken Barlow talks to someone. Maybe not Ken Barlow. But, yeah,
doesn't
so I was...
speak anymore,
I was,
it's
I
all
was
done.
snobbed. So I've given up now. I'll never be in Doctor Who.
Oh, Frank. Well, I can't say I'm sad for you.
Okay.
I think it's a narrow escape.
But it's as sad as The Allotment, but in a different way, I think you'll agree.
Well, what you need to do is do the same as you've just said I should do. Rather than you think of it that you're not on Doctor Who, just think that an actor is getting a role.
Yeah, but is there, though? Or is there just an empty chair behind Doctor Who that I would have been in? That's what gets me.
Oh, you might have done an accent as well. I
Yeah,
think you would
could have done.
But then if you'd had a monster mask, you wouldn't have had a speaking part.
Well, I would, because I would have said, we'll destroy you if you ever return to the Spanish palace.
I would cast you based on that.
Well, there you go.
I think that was wonderful.
That's, they don't know what they...
Scene.
Is that what they say? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that, you and your acting experience. Maybe you should try for it.
I'd love it. I'm available. Alan, tickets still available. Cochrane is available.
I've got a little bit of mascara. You could be Davros.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
As ever, if you get something slightly wrong on the show, people are keen to correct you.
I don't know if I've ever got anything wrong on the
No,
show.
really. I would say...
I've only been doing it about 4 years. So
When you said you wanted to be in Doctor Who, that was a low point.
that wasn't factually incorrect.
Yes, I think you'll find it turned out to be, my friend.
That was not wanting to be. Being on it was factually incorrect.
I once said skillet instead of trivet, and the whole switchboard nearly blew up. Remember that?
That was.
But
yeah.
I believe, Emily, we've had a tweet saying
We won't
that,
even go into descartes.
courgettes don't grow into marrows.
We have.
No, I did express some doubt about that.
Well, I'm
Well,
just
I think
saying,
they
Steph
do.
Connolly, and that sounds female, says everyone knows a courgette doesn't turn into a marrow. It just grows into a bigger courgette.
Well-
it is still part of the marrow family.
Evidently, by the fact that I didn't know that, everyone doesn't know that. Steph.
Hey, come on.
Take this
Come on,
outside.
Frank, come on, shake hands and forget about it. I don't know. I'm
don't
not
know
much of
either.
a gardener, but I'm with Steph. I don't think you just let... What? Do you think a pea would become a watermelon if you just let it go?
Yeah, that's what happens. It's nature.
No, I don't think it's... They're not...
Who are we to question?
It's not like evolution where you have to catch them early or they become something else.
Anyway, the good news is we've also had a
Do you
text
think
in
if you
from
let a
John.
chimpanzee live a long time, it would become a human being?
Yeah, that's what happened with Shakespeare, isn't it? Have
Yeah.
I misunderstood?
Oh, actually, I think you're right about Shakespeare.
Dear Frank, talking of allotments, I have a pumpkin plant with one huge pumpkin and 20 the size of a walnut. Only took 4 months. Should be okay for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
The thing is, they're on that apple tree that he didn't tend. Such ridiculous nonsense. What else?
Well, I'll tell you what else. We've also had an email in, but I think Alan ought to read it, actually,
Yeah.
because
happy
it concerns me.
Yeah, you're right. And it's
Oh, okay.
Dear Mr. Radio, the Cockerel and the delightful Miss Dean, as I'm a few weeks behind on the podcasts, I was busy concocting a sham premise for an email so that I could crowbar a night's move invite to Emily to join me on a night out in Liverpool. I was therefore upset to discover that she had been here last week and I missed my chance.
Cool.
Oh.
Anyway, things probably wouldn't have worked out as I'm a bit old for her, age 31.
Oh.
Hold on, I just need a drink.
Is that the time?
Fine.
And I'm afraid to say that I do occasionally still wear a boot-cut jean.
Oh, it's gone Clarkson.
No, that's too dangerous.
It's actually gone Hammond.
You can't go out with a man in a boot cut. You could become entangled.
Oh, Richard Hammond's wife has got to.
He's done
true.
a nice little joke here, though. Still, Emily, if you are ever back in the Hard Day's Night Hotel (brackets) or up here as a day tripper, nice.
No, I've stopped taking those now.
Let me
I don't
know.
want to take over the
No,
boat.
leave it. Didn't mean that. Leave it.
Yours sincerely, Tom in Liverpool. P.S. If not, could you please pass my details on to R. Keith and ask if he fancies a couple of pints of mild?
Hang on. I'm sorry. I thought he was asking me out on a date. It's me / our Keith.
He's empty, isn't he?
I mean, I don't have direct contact at this second with our Keith, but I'm guessing he does fancy a couple of pints of mild.
Well, that's a
I
lovely
bet there's
invite.
people listening that don't know what mild is. That's the modern world.
Well, I thought you were going to say there's people listening that don't know who our Keith is because we haven't introduced him. But
Yeah, well, he's my brother.
Can I thank Tom for his offer?
You can.
And I'd like to say I will see him down at the Taxi Drivers Sports and Social Club.
Nice.
I believe it's in the Walton area, L4.
Nice.
Ah. Black Betty had a child, bam, bam, the damn thing drank mild. Okay.
Frank, we've had another email in.
I love it.
Yes.
We're popular.
This is from Australia.
Let's
No
set this up
way. Just in this show today, we've heard from Liverpool, Vancouver, and Australia.
Yeah.
I also had a voice in my head saying, anyway. I couldn't think of anything that it would say that wouldn't be too shocking to say on radio, so I had to stop that one. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you gave it some thought.
I'll do the didgeridoo over the top of this one.
And I'll read it. That won't be distracting. This is from the Gold Coast. Sorry, everyone can't hear this.
Gold Coast.
Australia. Driving home from work, listening to your poddy. He actually said podcast. And suddenly find myself singing There Was a Man Who Had a Dog and Bingo. Oh, I sung it wrong. I don't know how you sing it.
Yeah.
Bingo was his name, or?
Does it go? Yeah, Bingo was
Well,
his
I
name.
don't do
though.
it, that thing. I do his
How
name
do you
as
do
Bobby
it?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O-B. But I'm glad...
At Frank's request. What a great way to
Oh, he
start a
joined in.
weekend.
Somebody did join
yes,
in.
thanks
Did
for the
join
smile
in.
you put on my face. He should be singing Dingo, really, not Bingo. That's his jurisdiction.
Yes. I think they're still in disgrace, the Bingos. Yeah.
We all know why, don't
No,
we?
it's not good. It's not good.
Funnily enough, I've recently picked up a Frank Skinner trait. You know, you said on the show that whenever you fill up your...
Was it from my poison arrow?
No, not that trait.
Okay.
Thankfully. I had the antibiotics as well. What's it called? When you fill up your money from the cash machine, you always
yeah.
sing Brass in
got
Pocket.
Brass in
to
Pocket,
yours.
yeah, by the Pretenders.
Oh, he
I've
always
now
does that.
started to have live music because when I arrive back at the house with on for meal, the dog sometimes jumps up on the couch that's in the window, and if I'm with the children, I will say, "How much is that doggy in the window?" And so now that's one of the little
But hold
tunes
on,
of
does
my
he
life.
go row at exactly the right point?
The dog?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No. And also, we've become friends on the street with a woman called Susan, so whenever my wife says that
Lovely.
she's going to Susan's, I will go, "Going over to Susan's house." So that's another one.
Is that actually a song you've made up?
No, that's an Eels song.
Oh.
Yes, I do know that. You sound slightly strained when you're saying it. Is everything all right between you and Susan?
Everything's fine.
Okay,
between
good.
us.
Well, my son Boz has got a cuddly toy called Monsieur Gingham. I've called him that.
Monsieur
I
Gingham.
call him Monsieur Gingham because he has quite big ears and a tail, which are made of gingham material.
This is very Gwyneth Paltrow, Monsieur
Monsieur Gingham. I don't know why Monsieur.
Smuggling in lessons.
Yes.
How dare
But
you?
I can't. We've had a long debate, me and Kath, about whether it's a mouse or an elephant.
Right.
Because the snout is a bit ambiguous. So I do a song with when I'm playing with Boz. I make Monsieur Gingham dance. Oh, I make him dance.
Yeah.
And it goes, Monsieur Gingham, Monsieur Gingham, Monsieur Gingham is here. Monsieur Gingham, elephant or mouse, it's not clear. And then the middle eight goes, though they are arch enemies, he could be either of these. Monsieur Gingham. I hope Boz is listening to this now. He'll be like, "What? Where's that voice coming from?" Yeah. Elephant or mouse, it's not clear.
Frank,
Yes.
have we got time for another email?
Who can say?
Well,
Just
I don't know.
Chuck it in.
But Madame Tartan, which is what I'm calling the producer, on account of her shirt today,
Oh, yes.
perhaps...
It's like being in the Yukon.
So this...
That's a gay club in Harrow.
Yeah. We've had an email in. Hi, Frank, lovely Emily and Alun. Your Richard Adams story last week, that was your mistaken identity, Frank, when you
yes.
thought... You've already
yeah.
referred to it, actually, haven't you? You thought Richard Adams was...
No, I thought...
Oh, no, you thought...
Douglas Adams.
Douglas
Douglas Adams
Adams,
was
yes,
Richard
Richard Adams,
Adams.
yeah. Your Richard Adams story last week reminded me of one of my most embarrassing moments. A good friend got us VIP backstage passes to a Jules Holland concert. Free booze and food. After overindulging, I plucked up the courage to talk to Ruby Turner, who was supporting Jules. I told her how disappointed I was that her set didn't include her big hit single, I Will, which is one of my favourite songs. Different Ruby, honey, she replied, and walked off.
Oh.
Ruby Winters, of course.
Of course.
What a chump I am.
That was Ruby Winters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Similar thing happened to me. I went up to Ruby Turner and asked her why she shot Lee Harvey Oswald. That didn't go down so well.
If you don't mind me saying, I think Ruby sounds a bit precious.
Oh, no, I've just...
very good.
I made a joke.
I think it was a joke. Fabulous. I just recently worked with Ruby. She was lovely.
Work with them all.
I've worked with them all.
She's all right. She's no Monsieur Gingham, though. Who is?
She might bring out Monsieur Gingham. I'll run it by her. I think I've got it on an acetate. I'm actually having an acetate as we speak, so I'm going to have to move on. Coming up is Vicky Blight. She's next. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this same time next week. And believe me, we love you all.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.